This morning I heard a great case. Arguments over money are what most divorcing couples say tore them apart. The couple I met today brought that issue with them when they came to divorce court.
Divorce court is now in session.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with Dana Ruff and Crosby Ruff. The two of you have been married just a little bit over a year. You're already in divorce court. We want to see what's going on. You have with you, Mrs. Ruff, a witness who's Eldon Floyd, who is his brother.
Yes.
But he's your witness. So we're going to figure out why in a little minute. So, Mrs. Ruff, you said in your papers that your relationship started out on the wrong foot altogether. Why don't you tell me what you meant by that?
We had a lot of things. For one, he was already married.
Well,
to
that's
someone
hard. Yeah, no, that's bad.
Another thing, him and my sister, my twin sister, they dated briefly for a couple of days, weeks, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I was friends with his sister. That's how I met him.
Mm-hmm.
So that brother-sister thing was already kind of off limit. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't a good idea.
No. Okay. Got that.
So, yeah. And a lot of that played a part in why we have so many problems now, because there's a lot of emotion, and there's a lot of
But what kind of emotion and who's having them?
problems that we dealt with in the past that we said we've gotten over. We haven't.
Okay. Was there cheating involved?
Yes, there was cheating.
Who was cheating?
On my behalf.
Okay.
There was cheating.
While you were dating or
early-
once you got married?
While we were dating.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So early in a relationship, there were two times during our relationship while we were dating that I cheated.
Did you find out about him or did she confess to him?
I found out about him.
Okay. When you decided to marry her, what had changed? Because you must have made a decision somewhere in there that she is now trustworthy when in fact she was not before.
She made some initial changes that
Such
made me
as?
comfortable.
I beg to differ.
No, social media. There was
Yes.
no male social friends to be added to her page. She did things like that.
Did you comply with that?
Your Honor, we spent 8 years together before 6 years together before we got married. During that time, like the cheating and all that was going on. So I think he kind of knew that I didn't want to be his girlfriend no more. I spent 6 years being his girlfriend.
Mr. Ruff, did she give you an ultimatum?
No, it wasn't an ultimatum, but I knew she wanted to be married. And to me, talking to her, she kind of felt like I didn't love her or she wasn't good enough to marry. She was good enough to bid, but not to marry. So it was a situation where I wanted to show her that I really, truly loved her, and I wasn't just there to play house.
What's gone wrong in this short year and a half that has made you two decide that this relationship is no longer viable?
My husband was in the Army, and I think he kind of uses that technique that they use in our marriage. It's almost like I feel like he's my commander, he's my sergeant.
Well, give me an example of some of the things he does or says.
Like,
I could tell you
before we were married, he told me, this is the way you have to live. This is the way I want my girlfriend to be. We lived like we were married before we were actually married. That was...
Were you living together?
Yes.
And
yes.
he was telling you what to do, when to do it, and how to do it.
I wasn't even married. Wasn't no going out on dates. Wasn't no having no girl, nights.
You went somewhere. You had two affairs.
I mean,
Mr. Ruff, is there any truth to her statement that you kind of run your house like a drill sergeant?
I don't believe so. I believe I'm real lean. I don't be on her head about things or try to control her. I let her do what she wants to do.
Do you have rules?
I mean, I have ground rules.
What are the ground rules?
Well, I feel like a woman should be home to take care of the family if she's not working, not hanging out.
So when you say she should be home, you don't mean all the time. She can't go out with her girlfriends a couple of times a month?
Yeah, she goes out with her. She went out with her girlfriends. Like birthdays, things of that nature. She went out with her girlfriends. But it wasn't like
Hold up. You mean to tell me she can't go out with her girlfriends unless it's a special occasion, like she can't have a life outside the house?
She can have a life, but you need to be able to pay for that life. Now, if you can't afford...
And how does one pay for that life?
Money, cash.
So, but you're saying because she doesn't work, she can't afford to go out? Because you're not going to give her money.
Not a lot. I mean, I would give her money, but not a lot. We have 8 kids, Your Honor. You know, we have a huge family. So one income is not enough to go out and enjoy yourself on a regular basis.
Do you want her to work?
Yes.
Well, who's going to take care of those 8 kids?
Well, part-time. She can go, while they're in school, she can work. Part-time.
Well, here's what I gathered from the piece of paper, and I think this is what my witness is going to talk about momentarily. The word is, you just cheat.
Thank you.
That you just will not give up a dollar.
Thank you.
You won't spend any money.
Thank you.
You hang on to a dollar so hard that George Washington is screaming.
He'll make a difficult order just so they'll get it wrong, so he can take the biggest bite he can to give it back, to have them redo it.
Have you been living together for years but find that splitting up is as complicated as getting a divorce? Call toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or visit our website at divorcecourt.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Divorce Court. Mr. Floyd, you are Mr. Ruff's brother.
Yes.
And I take it you love Mr. Ruff.
Yes.
As a brother.
I love them both. That's why I'm here.
Tell me how cheap is he?
I'll start off with one story. Like, if we go get something to eat, he'll make a difficult order just so they'll get it wrong, so he can take the biggest bite he can to give it back, to have them redo it, so he can get fuller.
I have never heard of that before.
Ask him.
Mr. Ruff, do you do that?
No, I don't do it so that they can get it wrong. I just like my food a particular way, and if they make it wrong, I feel like I'm justified in taking a bite. If I don't like it, I want what I ordered.
But if it's not what you ordered and it's wrong, don't you still take the biggest possible bite you can and then give it back to them?
Yeah. I mean, Your Honor, most fast food places, they're going to throw it away anyway. They're not going to take it and put it back on the shelf, so it's garbage. You might as well take a bite out of it.
Mr. Floyd, can you top that one? I don't know if you can, but do you have any other stories about Mr. Ruff and his penury?
He needs to spend more money on himself.
Credibility, Your Honor. No
Why
credibility.
doesn't he have any credibility?
He got on $1,400 shoes, but he borrows money from me. So
He got on $1,400 shoes.
Yeah, I do have on $1,400 shoes.
I don't have $1,400 shoes. You don't understand money.
But he want to borrow money from me when he needs to pay a bill or something.
Now, Ms. Ruff, why don't you tell me why you say your husband is so cheap?
Okay. One day we went to McDonald's. My husband wants to argue with me. He tells me, oh, order what you want, go ahead. So I ordered a double cheeseburger instead of a McDouble, which I usually order. And he's telling me, oh, well, don't you know that double cheeseburger has extra cheese? That's 30 extra cents. Like, you know? And I'm just in the car like, is he really doing this right now?
That's not fair.
Like, is he really?
That's not fair.
Are we really arguing about cheese? Like, are we really doing this?
Did you argue about 30 cents on some cheese?
She argued, Your Honor. I just brought it to her attention. That's
Why?
She got mad because I brought it to her attention.
But why would you tell me to order what I want if you're going to talk about the cheese? You know what I'm saying?
But Mr. Ruff, why did that even make your radar? That 30 cents on some cheese. How did that make your...
Because normally she orders the McDouble, which only has 1 slice of cheese. This particular time she ordered the double cheeseburger. I'm like, well, you know that has 2 slices of cheese on it.
Mind you, he told me to order what I want.
I just wanted her to know, and she got mad because I said something. I didn't tell her she couldn't get the cheese.
You were just letting her know that that she was costing her brother 30 extra cents so she could have 2 slices of cheese instead of 1. Can you give me any other examples of Mr. Ruff's inability to give up a dollar?
Flowers. I could think of one time that he gave me flowers, and the only reason he gave it to me is because I complained about it. That was the only reason I got it.
Mr. Ruff, is that true?
Yeah, it might be true that she only think of one time, but it's not true that I only did it one time. I did it many times.
You did it many times. Now, $1,400, put your
Many.
arm down. Ms. Ruff, let me talk to you. My understanding is he only allows you to spend $20 a day on your debit card.
Oh, yeah.
How does he monitor that, and what does he expect you to provide on that $20?
In the beginning, he gave me a debit card to use, you know, just in case I was somewhere and didn't have any money. And I bought my brother, who watches our kids from time to time, a phone. Now, he didn't agree with that. So he went and put a limit on the debit card that he gave me that says that I can only spend $20 per day. I don't know.
Did you do that?
Yes, I did that, Your Honor, but it's a lot deeper than that.
Well, tell me how deep it is.
My wife is an emotional spender. Now, she does something that she likes to call retail therapy. To her, shopping is therapy.
Were you a little extra critical on your girlfriend when you were working with her?
If I was, it wasn't intentional. You know, I was hard because I wanted her to be the best.
Do you agree with Dana that working together with Crosby helped ruin their marriage? Vote now. Call 855-70-DIVORCE. Make your vote count. Call 855-70-DIVORCE and get your exclusive offers. If you would like your case to be heard on divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Divorce Court. Now, Mrs. Ruff, are you an emotional spender? Because there are people out there like that who fill themselves up when they don't feel loved or cared for or something by purchasing things. Is that you?
I do. But in my defense, somebody has to be, because clearly he's not. He doesn't.
Well, what kind of things do you spend money on?
I mean, it could be anything. I mean, clothes, you know, stuff for the kids, stuff
Do
for him.
you go shopping with him?
No. That's out of my league right there. That's out of my league right there. But, you know, like say we go out to eat, and I say, you know, I want to take my husband out to eat. Where you want to go eat at? Oh, let's go to Red Lobster, or let's go to the steakhouse. But if it's him,
oh my
You got to go to McDonald's and you're 30 cents for cheese.
It's not fair.
That's not
It's
true.
not fair.
Okay.
That's not true. But, Your Honor,
My understanding is this. You feel a little resentful because you gave up your career as a singer to be a stay-at-home mom. Why don't you tell me a little bit about why you did that and how that makes you feel?
My husband has a media company. I was one of his artists on his record label. When I started performing, we were dating, so a lot of the things that he would say to criticize my artistry would kind of affect me more, not only because he was my boss, so to speak.
He was your man.
He was my boyfriend, you know, so I felt like, for instance, I did a show. During that show, I had on some knee boots, but it was the summertime. You know, you can get away with wearing knee boots in the summertime, depending on what you got on. So he criticized me so bad, Judge. I'm talking about, I was like in tears almost. So we leave that place and go to another place to see one of his other artists. Well, I'll be darned, she got on boots too. Did he say anything to her? No, he did not.
Now, I want you to give me a moment here, Ms. Ruff. Open your mind wide like a prairie. Were you a little extra critical on your girlfriend when you were working with her?
if I was, it wasn't intentional. You know, I was hard because I wanted her to be the best. I wanted her to be good. So I just tried to get the best out of her.
His insults and the things that he said to me during that time when we were working together, that is what
Your Honor,
caused
Give
me
me
to
an
not want to
example.
do it.
Give me an example of the kind of things that he would say to you during that period of time that you found insulting.
Your Honor, she's just, look, she is.
Well, I'll give you a minute to think. I'll let him speak, and I'll give you a minute to think. Go ahead.
My thing is this, Your Honor. You know, I got other artists, and she had an attitude with me, being that she was my woman, that she shouldn't have had with me in front of them when we were working. And that was the problem. It wasn't a situation to where it was like I was just being hard on her, but a lot of times I had to remind her that, look, you're my artist, you're not my girlfriend right now. And she would argue with me in front of the other artists and make it almost like, well, they think they could try to get away with something like that. And that's, you know, they would probably get shelved if they tried that. But her being my girlfriend, I couldn't shelf her and go home because that wasn't going to work. So I had to put up with more than I normally would take from
Did you
an
ever sit
artist.
down and have a conversation with her about that exactly, saying, listen, let's
Never.
not argue in front of other people because it affects our business?
Yes.
Or
Yes, she didn't want to hear that.
she didn't, and nothing came of it?
No, nothing. She stopped doing music.
In divorce court, people tell me the most intimate details of their lives. Join the conversation and share your experience on our Twitter page at Divorce Court and on our Facebook page. See how fans deal with their own relationships. The discussion can get heated. Don't miss it. Do you really want out?
I want my husband to change. I want him to change because we cannot keep living like we've been living. It's not fair for our children. It's not fair for us. It's not fair for nobody.
What one thing specifically could he change to make you at least consider staying?
He's gonna have to consider me. Like the cheat, you know, I can't do that. You know, I don't wanna feel like, you know, when I take my husband out, I gets down. I spend my money and I make sure he had the best of the best.
Beyond the material aspects, because he's tight with a dollar. I get that. I'm a little tight myself. But my question to you is, I think it goes deeper than that because you're in tears. You don't feel valued, and I want to know why.
I feel like I'm in a army. I don't feel like I'm in a relationship. I feel like I'm in somebody's telling me what to do, how I should act, what, you know, how I'm supposed to raise my kids, how I'm supposed to do this. We're both learning. You know what I'm saying? We're both. This is the beginning for both of us. Like we just started, you know, we just started basically getting along or being able to get along, and it just seems like the longer we're together, the worse
She
it
don't
gets.
understand, Your Honor.
Mr. Ruff, did you hear what she just said?
Yes, Your Honor.
What did she just say?
She basically said she wants me to change.
That's not what she said. That's not what she said. You didn't hear what she said. Most of it was about how she felt. How does she feel?
Unappreciated, unloved.
There you go. Unappreciated and unloved. And one of the main ways to make a woman feel unappreciated and unloved is not to hear her. So when you said basically she wanted me to change, you're saying all the stuff that she felt and all the stuff that hurt her was no consequence to you. All you were thinking about was how it affected you, but how she felt was not important. Do you understand what I'm saying here?
Yes, Your Honor.
You don't agree?
I don't agree.
Tell
I don't
me
agree.
why.
I don't agree because I live a difficult life. I don't have a 9-to-5 job. I don't get a paycheck where I get a steady income. If a customer don't walk through my door, I don't make any money. So I have to make sure when I have money, when I'm making money, when it's good, I have to make sure I have it to carry over for when it's bad, for when it's slow. So I budget. You know, that's our budget.
You really didn't hear her. You're still talking about money.
Thank you.
This beautiful, gorgeous woman wants to leave because she feels unloved in her own home, and you're fighting with me about, well, I get this or I did the same thing. You don't even want to listen. If I was going to lose my man and somebody was telling me how to keep him, I'd be all up in the listening. And I think that's how you start. You start by listening to this woman about her needs and her wants and how you can show her love in a way that she can receive it. You with me with that?
I'm with you.
You're not just trying to shut me up, are you?
No.
He doesn't understand the concept of what works for him.
Doesn't
It's
work.
not gonna work for me.
No. A lot of people don't. I'm gonna send you to somebody to talk to you about it. But you know, just because you're not cold doesn't mean you don't need to get her a sweater sometimes. And you have to be able to respect other people's needs even when they don't mirror your own. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
I understand.
You understand that?
I understand.
Give him another run at it, Ms. Ruff. And stand your ground. Be cool. Don't get excited. But say, hey, you're not listening to me. And if you keep, you're not listening. You're not listening.
He like hard like this.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
We gonna work on him, though.
Yeah, I almost beat him up.
This matter is adjourned. I think Mr. Ruff made a mistake that a lot of people make. When they want to be understood, they just keep talking, when in reality, the first thing you need to do is start listening.